You see him on the news.
CNN.com contributor, Dean Obeidallah. So, Dean...
Watch him at comedy clubs.
When I say Mecca, do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles. And you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obeidallah Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters of the resistance. Monday, February 25th. I'm Dean Obeidallah, hoping to be your MBFF. We're live next 3 hours. A lot to cover, my friends. A lot of stuff to get through. I want to thank Tina Dupuis for sitting in for me on Friday. I was at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where I gave a keynote/comedy address. And I met a lot of really great people down in North Carolina there at Chapel Hill. And it's a lot of fun. But now we're back, and a lot going on, my friends. Usually I would not talk about the Oscars. We're a political show, except for the fact that the Oscars was a celebration of diversity, and second, Donald Trump was pissed off by the Oscars and attacked Spike Lee, which is remarkable, because Donald Trump attacked Spike Lee and still has not slammed the white supremacist terrorist fan of his. But still, we're not going to start out with anger. We're going to start out in a nice way, with some humor from the Oscars. Then we'll get into some of the other stuff that pisses me off about it. But look, this Oscars, Hollywood in general pisses off the right. They're angry by it. They feel slighted by it for various reasons. One is they're victims. That's their DNA. There's nothing I can do about that. That'll take therapy and someone hugging them a little bit more, telling them they're special and worthy, and perhaps they'll get beyond that victimhood. That'd actually be good for them in the long run. Forget politics. It would actually help them. Second, they don't like the diversity, the celebration of diversity. And the Oscars before the last 2 years really has not been a celebration of diversity. It's been much more of a Oscars too white. But Hollywood itself has been a celebration of diversity. Well, the last 2 years have changed that. And last night was the most diverse Oscars in terms of winning and nomination we've ever seen. In fact, out of the 4 main acting awards, 3 were won by people of color. This was a record. I mean, this is a huge record. You had Regina King win Best Supporting Actress. You had Rami Malek win Best Actor. And he's Arab American, by the way. First Arab American to ever win Best Actor. And Mahershala Ali won Best Supporting Actor his second year in a row. And again, to remind people, he's a Muslim. It's one of my people. We won 2 Oscars in a row. Pretty good stuff. And so now the Oscars are a celebration of diversity too. And that's something the other side doesn't like. I mean, they really don't like the idea that you would celebrate differences. They want you to demonize differences. They want us to divide each other. And here's the weirdest thing. This Oscars was probably the least political in years. There was no host, by the way, in case you didn't watch it. Last year, Jimmy Kimmel came out, did a lot of jokes about Trump. This year, because of the whole controversy with Kevin Hart, there was no host. But it did start out with Tina Fey, Maya Rudolph, and Amy Poehler together, 3 women that I've worked with at Saturday Night Live for years. Extremely talented. Extremely. And 2 of the 3 are really nice. But I won't tell you which one of the 3 is not that nice. Not going to do that. But they started out with a subtle joke about Trump, and it kind of built up from there. Here's clip number 1.
Good evening and welcome to the 1 millionth Academy Awards. So just a quick update for everybody in case you're confused. There is no host tonight. There won't be a popular movie category, and Mexico is not paying for the wall.
Mexico not paying for the wall. Anger in Trump world. How dare you say the truth? Mexico's not going to pay for the wall. But that was nothing. Wait till we get to the racist garbage from Donald Trump about Spike Lee. And then here was a funny thing. Trevor Noah from The Daily Show, and I often play clips, is a really funny guy. He had to introduce the movie Black Panther. And he did some jokes leading up to it. We'll play that. But he actually trolled everyone, including me. I didn't know. He speaks in an African language here. And he tells you what it means. But in reality, that's not what it meant. And nobody knew that till today. So here's clip number 2, Trevor Noah.
Black Panther, maybe an African hero, but his story and his appeal are universal. I know this personally because of all the people who constantly come up to me and say, Wakanda forever. Everywhere in the world, my African friends are like, Wakanda forever. In France, I've had people say, hello, Trevor Noah, you say Wakanda forever, no? Even backstage, Mel Gibson came up to me like, Wakanda forever. He said another word after that, but the Wakanda part was nice. Growing up as a young boy in Wakanda, I would see King T'Challa flying over our village. And he would remind me of a great Xhosa phrase, "Abelungu abayazi bandiaqoka," which means in times like these, we are stronger when we fight together than when we try to fight apart.
And the crowd went crazy. This beautiful moment where he says in African, the specific language, I'm sorry, I don't know, but he said, in times like these, we are stronger when we fight together than we try to fight apart. In reality, what Trevor Noah actually said, and he was trolling everyone, he said, white people don't know that I'm lying. That's actually what he said. That's not a joke. That's really what he said. But he said it in an African language and no one knew it. But Twitter, people who are watching it from Africa go, that's not what he really said. White people don't know. And that's the truth. Then Rami Malek won for playing Freddie Mercury, an openly gay man from the group Queen. And here Rami talks about playing Freddie Mercury, but talking about his Egyptian parents. Because he's the son, like me, of an immigrant Arab dad, but his mom was Arab as well. In my case, my mom's Italian. So let's hear Rami Malek. And this was a really proud moment for, I have to say, the Arab American community to see Rami Malek win this. Here's clip number 3.
We made a film about a gay man, an immigrant who lived his life just unapologetically himself. And the fact that I'm celebrating him and this story with you tonight is proof that we're longing for stories like this. I am the son of immigrants from Egypt. I'm a first-generation American, and part of my story is being written right now, and I could not be more grateful to each and every one of you and everyone who believed in me for this moment.
So that was Rami Malek. That was a beautiful moment. If you watched it, there were some great moments in the Oscars. I didn't watch all of it. I watched most of it. Then came the political thing that set off Donald Trump today. And it's not in a vacuum. I don't talk about Trump's tweets all the time. I write about them. I wrote yesterday for CNN about Trump saying, on 4th of July, folks, guess what he's going to do? A salute to Trump. But we won't have to talk about that today. But here is Donald Trump, though. Very, very upset because Spike Lee gave a speech, and when he won, his first Oscar, he won. I mean, I didn't know this. I thought Spike had won for something else. He had never actually won. He'd got an honorary Oscar. This was his first one, and he won for Best Adapted Screenplay for BlacKkKlansman. And in this speech, he does not mention Donald Trump. What he does talk about, though, and apparently this upset Trump a lot, is the history of slavery in this country. 400 years. We're at the 400-year anniversary of the first slaves brought to Jamestown, Virginia, this year. And Donald Trump is upset by that. Donald Trump called him racist on Twitter. I'll play the clip first and I'll read you his tweet afterwards. But listen carefully. Do you hear any racist comments? And even near the end, when he talks about mobilizing for 2020, he doesn't talk about Trump. It's actually very nice. He actually stays above all of that partisanship, even though I love them when they are partisan on our side. But I think this touched on a different thing, the idea that there are white people like Trump that do not want black people to talk about slavery anymore. And I've heard that. Why can't they just get over it? So many years ago. That's part of that mindset. But let's play Spike Lee. It's a little over a minute and a half. I think and he's reading from a piece of paper, by the way, so it's a little stilted in some portions of it because he wanted to get it right, so he wrote it like a script and actually delivered it like a script. But let's hear Spike Lee from last night. Clip number 4, please.
The word today is irony. The date, the 24th, the month, February, which also happens to be the shortest month of the year, which also happens to be Black History Month, the year 2019, the year 1619. History, her story, 1619, 2019, 400 years. 400 years, our ancestors were stolen from Mother Africa and brought to Jamestown, Virginia, enslaved. Our ancestors worked from the land from Kansas City in the morning to Kansas City at night. My grandmother, Zimmy Sheldon Retha, who lived to be 100 years young, who was a Spelman College graduate, even though her mother was a slave. My grandma, who saved 50 years of Social Security checks for her first grandchild, she called me Spiky Poo. She put me through Morehouse College and NYU grad film. NYU. Before the world tonight, I give praise to our ancestors who built this country and what is today, along with the genocide of its native people. We all connect with our ancestors. We will have love, wisdom, regaining. We will regain our humanity. It will be a powerful moment. The 2020 presidential election is around the corner. Let's all mobilize. Let's all be on the right side of history. Make the moral choice between love versus hate. Let's do the right thing. You know I had to get that in there.
That was his entire speech. I usually don't play clips that long, but I wanted to before I read Donald Trump's tweet and how it was and what was going on there. Because, first of all, Fox and white friends, didn't like that speech because a black man speaking out like that upsets them. So they deemed it political. I won't even play their stupidity for you, but they were upset and they mocked him for, he's not been on the stage much, I guess, at the Oscars, sort of saying he never won before. Like those people on Fox and Friends' couch have no talent. They're not going to be nominated for any Oscars. They're not going to contribute to our society in any positive way. They contribute in dividing us, but they slight Spike Lee, a master, a genius of a filmmaker. So Donald Trump gets upset and he tweets, "Be nice if Spike Lee could read his notes, or better yet, not have to use notes at all when doing his racist hit on your president, who has done more for African Americans, parentheses, criminal justice reform, lowest unemployment numbers in history, tax cuts, etc., close parentheses, than almost any other prez." So there's Donald Trump today taking moments from his preparation, from his photo op with the North Korean leader in Vietnam, to attack Spike Lee. It's remarkable. Donald Trump has a time to slam Spike Lee, but still to this day has not slammed on Twitter the white supremacist terrorist we all learned about last week, who was targeting for death the very same targets that Donald Trump has gone after, the same people in the media and the same Democrats. No time for that. We've got time to mock Spike Lee. And listen to what Trump said at the top of this. Listen very carefully here, and you see this pattern. I'll spell it out, but I think you already know it before I even get to it. He said, Donald Trump said about Spike Lee, "Be nice if Spike Lee could read his notes." Be nice if he could read his notes. And there, Donald Trump, his pattern of demeaning black people as unintelligent is once again right before us. This is Donald Trump's idea of celebrating Black History Month. This is the same Donald Trump who's called Maxine Waters low IQ, who's called visible African Americans like Don Lemon and LeBron James dumb and unintelligent, called NFL players SOBs. What Trump is doing is serving up a white supremacist meme, folks. This is not a game. This is not a joke. The white supremacist meme, here it is. This is white supremacy. I've written about it. It's in their literature, and Trump copies it. That somehow white people are intellectually superior to black people. And that's what this joke, be nice if he could read. Maxine Waters, low IQ. Other African Americans, dumb, unintelligent. The reason his base loves that, because that plays on what they've been taught, and they truly believe that they are somehow superior to black people. And in this case, they're all smarter, yet they're not. And another claim Trump had in his thing, he's been the greatest president for African Americans ever, lowest unemployment numbers in history. Just to refresh everyone, because I hate to put facts out there, but I have to. Black unemployment in the last 9 years, has gone down 10 points in the last 9 years, from 16.8% to 6.8%. That's where it is today, 6.8%. To remind you, under President Obama, black unemployment dropped by 8.9 points, almost 9 points. Under Trump, how much has it got down? 1 point. To be specific, 1.1%. So 90% of black unemployment that has dropped in the last 9 years was under President Obama. 1 point under Trump, but he wants all the credit. That's Donald Trump. There was nothing in this speech that was racist at all. For Donald Trump to call a racist hit on your president, sort of the idea of it's your president that he's saying things about. And Trump on Sunday tweeted about, your favorite president is going to give a speech on 4th of July, the biggest gathering ever. You know, when I look again at Spike Lee's speech, the only thing about politics at the end, he said the 2020 presidential election is around the corner. Let's all mobilize. Let's all be on the right side of history. Make the moral choice between love versus hate. Let's do the right thing. Didn't mention Trump at all. But to Donald Trump, that's racist. What is really racist to Trump, I have no doubt, is that he also brought up slavery. And for people like Donald Trump, the idea of slavery makes them uncomfortable. Jim Crow makes them uncomfortable. They don't want to talk about the sins of their ancestors. They don't want to talk about the crimes against humanity by their ancestors. They want to move on. Can't we just move on? Let's not talk about reparations. That makes them uncomfortable. So Spike Lee is the racist. And I'm sure everyone out there who's ever advocated anything that had to do with Black Lives Matter or discrimination against people of color, you've been called the divisive one by the right. You've been called the racist by the right, because that's how they try to shut us down. We are the racist. We are divisive because we call out their racism in our face, their discrimination in our face, or their history of it. These are crimes against humanity, slavery. It's 400 years. There should be no doubt. Donald Trump didn't... Black History Month, there was not a tweet about this anniversary, 400 years that Spike Lee was talking about. No. The only thing he did was take a moment to go after Spike Lee and say he can't read, and he was doing a racist hit on your president. No, Donald Trump, you're not my president. You're not Spike Lee's president. I don't think you're anyone who listens here unless you're monitoring from Trump world president. He's not our president. And again, that's not snarky. Donald Trump doesn't want to be our president. He tells us this daily with his tweets about attacking the left, attacking our leaders in vicious ways, attacking what we believe in. We believe in this nation, our idea of celebration, diversity, of pluralism, of a nation where you're treated the same, but regardless of your religion or your race, your sexual orientation or your gender. Those are all aspirational ideals. We're not there yet, but we believe in that. We push forward on that. Donald Trump wants to take us backwards. That's why he's not our president. He doesn't want to be our president. He only wants to be king of his base, and he's got them. And stay with them. And if you love Trump, so be it. I care less. We won so big we had 9 million, I think over 8 million more votes in the midterm election, the House races. We're going to blow Trump away if we work really hard and don't cannibalize our own candidates and unite after this primary that's going to be ugly at times. There's no doubt. We're going to win. We're going to win the Senate as well. And then Donald Trump can tweet from wherever. Don't count on Robert Mueller. Don't count on his report. Count on us. We did it in 2018. We'll do it again. So I'd love to hear from you. You're my guest right to the top of the hour. We can talk about the national emergency vote tomorrow. We're going to have Congressman Espelot on at 7 o'clock from New York. Great guy. He's one of the co-sponsors of that resolution on the national emergency. It's going to pass the House tomorrow easily. But I'd love to hear from you. Donald Trump, did Spike Lee say anything racist? I played the entire clip. Is this anything more than Donald Trump's white supremacy on parade for all to see? Demonizing Spike Lee, if he could read his notes, go screw yourself, Donald Trump, if he could read his notes. This is Donald Trump. Maxine Waters is low IQ. Don Lemon, LeBron James, Jay-Z, other African Americans, dumb, unintelligent. They're from Africa, an S-hole country. This is Donald Trump. No, there wasn't a racist. You're the racist, Donald Trump. There's no doubt. You're the white supremacist. And we've got to win big. As Spike Lee said, I'm just going to play the last 20 seconds of his speech, being on the right side of history. Here's clip number 5. Clip 5.
The 2020 presidential election is around the corner. Let's all mobilize. Let's all be on the right side of history. Make the moral choice between love versus hate. Let's do the right thing. You know I had to get that in there.
Let's do the right thing. It's up to us. We have the power. We did it in 2018. We'll do it again. So let's take a break. You're my guest. We'll go out to... We're playing a few seconds here, about 20, 30 seconds of a beautiful moment from the Oscars. Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga singing a song from A Star is Born, which is a really good movie. It got nominated. The song is shallow, but I'm saying it's from A Star is Born, right? From the movie. So let's play like 25 seconds of it. Go to break, come back, and take your calls.
For change, and in the bad times I fear myself.
In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never leave the ground.
Progressive
progressive values are the best of American values, and we need to keep fighting for them to save our country.
Don't go anywhere. This is the Dean Obadala Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.